No, Scott, Tar Heel 24/7. I wanted to ask about Max. How cool is it from your vantage point to know what he's been through and then see him jog out onto the field and then also play the way he did at the end of that game?
Max is a ultimate competitor, extremely tough, and the one thing about him that you love is that he grew up around football. So him and I relate a lot in terms of our childhood, right, and kind of how he understands football. So the work he's put in to come back and to play that night, it was a special story, and I couldn't be more proud of him. And he's earned the right to do that and to perform well. And he's just an ultimate competitor, but tough as nails. So it was awesome to see.
Adam Smith with Inside Carolina. Hey, Matt. Wanted to ask you about, I understand you hadn't practiced yet this week.
Yes.
Do you guys plan on having Gio in practice?
Yeah, I mean, he's here today, so we're going to see how it goes and where it goes from there, and we'll see what it looks like on the practice field. But he was here in here today, and he looked great, so we'll see how it goes.
Just a follow-up real quick, if that's okay. It seemed like, coming out of Monday night, there might have been some questions just about skill set wise with Gio. He has such the running ability that he's known for, and you guys had him under center. So I'm like, do you feel like the scheme maybe needs to change a little bit when you have him in there in terms of what you guys did Monday night to maybe utilize his talents better?
I think we're going to look at everything in terms of an offense. I think that when you don't perform well, I think you're going to look at some things and things we did well, things we didn't do well. So I think we're going to take that all into account. I don't think it's necessarily just because of his skill set or things that we have to do to match his skill set. He can do everything in our eyes. So we're going to do what's best for the team, all right, and do what's best, what gives us the best chance to win at the end of the day.
Appreciate it.
Jerry Mike Holloway with Inside Carolina. I wanted to ask about, I guess, kind of the distribution, ball distribution, if you will, in the passing game. First, I guess several ones, it looked like Gio was kind of, looking more so ship's way, and, later in the game, you guys were able to kind of move it around. Is that kind of a conversation you were able to have with them, big game, both Gio and Max, of, trying to distribute it against different guys, things like that?
It's never about one guy. It's never about one player, especially a quarterback. It's just find the open guy really at the end of the day. And I think there's ways you scheme things up for certain guys, but it's at the end of the day, they've thrown to everybody, especially in camp with having a quarterback competition. So it's been great. So they feel comfortable with everybody. And I wouldn't think he's predetermining or trying to throw to certain guys. I just think he's trying to find the open one and go through his right reads and read the defense as well. That's really what it is.
Andrew Jones, Tar Heel 24/7. When Gio and the offense is going through that stretch they went through with 3 and outs, just couldn't move anything. After having success in the first drive, what are the conversations like with a new guy who just arrived a couple of months ago, and maybe you're trying to bring him down a little bit and being amped about maybe some of the activity?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's first game of the year, so whether he's new or not, it's always going to have those jitters, and you perform well in the first drive, it's the next play mentality. So whatever happened in the past, good or bad, you got to move on to the next one and focus on the next play. So you're constantly trying to make sure those guys are on the same page and focus on what's going to happen on the next series. And you're just trying to make sure you're in a good position right there. So.
You're obviously evaluating Gio as well about maybe some things that work or maybe some things that don't. There are a couple things that maybe you thought would work a lot better that maybe now it's just seeing him against another opponent, you're not so sure, and you have to kind of go back and maybe tweak how you do that or just toss it out?
No, I think it's so early in the year that you're just still trying to figure out who you are as an offense and what your identity is. So, again, it just goes back to things you do well and things you don't do well, and it starts with take care of the football, and that's what's the most important thing about this program is putting this team in the best position to win, and that's what our job is at quarterback. So those are the things that we're going to be constantly evaluating and try to improve on those and make sure that those don't happen again. And the scheme-wise of it, we're going to do whatever it takes to win the game. So if that's run the ball, throw the ball, be in a certain group, we're going to do whatever it is. And if it doesn't work, then we got to evaluate that and go back to the drawing boards.
I've got two. One on the snapping issue that appeared when you guys were in the shotgun. Did that limit what you could do offensively? Did you have to go under center in part because of the snapping issue with the center?
No part of that at all. I had to go be under center. Just we're down bodies at center, and we've been constantly working on it. So it has nothing to do with his ability to snap. It's just that we got to keep working on it.
You know, found out last week that Gio was going to be the starter. I wonder how that evaluation went in camp. How close was it between Max and Gio? Was it clear cut? Did you make that decision early? Just any insight you can give into how that evaluation was made, that decision was made.
I think that stays within us as coaches, but these guys were, getting equal reps and going at it every day, and I think that they were enjoying the process of it, of competing and playing with different guys, right? That's kind of the enjoyment of it is that you're throwing to just not the same person every day, working behind these different lines. So you're constantly just trying to evaluate how they're operating with different people and how they're leading different people from that standpoint as a quarterback. So, but there was no day, there was no certain throw or certain thing that it was just a ongoing process of who gives us the best chance to win.
Hey Matt, Pat Walter from WRL News. Obviously don't need to tell you Monday was a tough loss, right? I'm just curious, how does Bill Belichick kind of interact with the staff after a loss like that? Is he a yeller? Is he calm? Is he a teacher? Combination?
Coach is he's the same guy every day, and that's what makes him so great, and what makes him so unique is that whether it's good or bad, he wins a Super Bowl, we lose on Monday night, you're going to get the same guy the next day, and it's a great teacher, a great leader, and somebody that we can lean towards when we need the answers. So.
Tommy Ashley in South Carolina. First series obviously went as well as you could expect. How much of that is scripting versus later in the game sort of feel? And I know you're not calling plays, but that aspect of it. And what did you see that maybe TCU switched up on Gio to sort of affect it a little differently?
I think that you always want to start fast, and that's one of the things we always emphasize is starting fast, and when we did that. But again, it's really about us, and it's about us taking care of the football and making sure that we're running clean plays, operating at a fast pace, and not getting behind the chains, and that's what we look for the most. But nothing in terms of scheme-wise that we were shocked. It just they were obviously ready to play, and they performed well, and they did a great job of tackling and playing their coverage and blitzing and doing that. They were ready to play, and we got to do a better job of getting our guys ready to play and performing throughout the game for 60 minutes and just not the opening drive. I think that's something that you struggle with. It's just complacency, and we got to learn from it and move on. Again, things we did well, things we did poorly. We got to work on that, and we look forward to the next challenge at Charlotte.
Shelby Swanson with the News Observer. You kind of spoke on just how Belichick was interacting with the team following the loss. I'm curious, obviously haven't had the chance to practice, but just how do you approach maybe picking up Gio after a rough performance on Monday?
Yeah, we have a great relationship, and it's never about one person, but we also have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, how do we perform better? How do we get our team in a better position? And and that's just little things, technique-wise, fundamental-wise, scheme-wise. So the best thing about him and the rest of the quarterbacks is they're all coachable, and they want to be coached well, and they want to perform well. So they're going to do whatever it takes to do that. And I think it's being positive but also being critical of certain things. And I think that they're able to take that coaching, which is great.
We got 3 more. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, was on the side. On that pick 6, what was you exactly looking at, and how do you correct that from watching the film and also being on the field at the same time?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go into football. There's 11 guys, and just not all one person. I think he would love to have the throw back. It's just certain things in football, things spiral and you make it worse, and you wish you had it back. But that was his first read, and it just so happened that it didn't turn out well. So you got to move on. Short memory, but a long memory. You got to learn from it, and you got to forget it at the same time. So that's the beauty of playing quarterback.
When you look at evaluating Gio overall, can you even evaluate the quarterbacks in a game like that when, like you said, all of a sudden you're down big, the game script probably goes out the window? Like, how much do you evaluate what they did, and then how much do you have to evaluate game situations that they were put into?
I think it's 51 snaps is not a lot of football to begin with as an offense, so it's even hard to evaluate just you as an offense in terms of how you did well and the things you did. So you take it you know, in a full, you know, I would say you look at it like the things that you need to work on, get better at as an offense, just not as an individual. But I think that with him his performance, it's just really taking care of the football and being ahead of the chains on offense and making sure we're going forwards, not backwards, and making the right decisions. So everything's evaluation. Every day's evaluation. So every day we're going to look at it the same way and try to learn from it and do better.
Matt, Rod Baxley, Fayetteville Observer. What were the main points of the emphasis from Coach Belichick when y'all were talking about Monday night as far as throughout the coaching staff and going into the Charlotte game?
Play for 60 minutes, compete, put the team first, and, you know, match your intensity and, you know, do whatever it takes to win and take care of the football. Same things that we talk about all the time and the things that we need to do to win the game, and that's play good football. And unfortunately, we didn't do well enough, and they did a great job of it. So look to the next challenge at Charlotte this upcoming week.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Matt.
Matt, thank you.